Technology as a positive influence in developing countries.
A presentation by Team 5.
With the technological advancements we get to enjoy as people living in a first world country, it's easy to forget that developing nations don't enjoy the same technological benefits that we do. Developing nations and remote communities face unique challenges when it comes to sustainability and growth, even as globalization has led to many advancements throughout the world. The United Nations recognized the progress made in developing countries since the turn of the century at its summit on post-2015 development last year, but emphasized the need for improvement. Our group believes that information technology will greatly improve the lives of people in developing countries. We will highlight the impact of technology in developing countries in healthcare, economy, education, culture, and governance.
Healthcare. IT has and will continue to promote greater and better healthcare in developing countries. IT devices and systems provide scalable healthcare processes and efficiently facilitate the interaction between healthcare providers and patients. IT helps health providers monitor and document patients through electronic health records. For example, the Mozoriat Health Center, a healthcare facility in rural Kenya, developed a medical record system through the use of IT. The system stored patient information and medical history, among other things. By storing and accessing the information online, rather than through a manual filing system, they experienced improved staff productivity and reduced patient wait times. Patient care was improved, allowing more Kenyans to benefit from the center. IT also helps developing countries order and manage medications. This was proven in Haiti. Following the 2010 earthquake, the St. Luke Hospital was built. The main issue the understaffed hospital faced was medication shortages. A pharmacy computerized inventory program was implemented to assist the hospital with ordering medications and managing inventory. Through its implementation, the hospital was able to improve medication utilization and improve staff efficiency.
Next, we will look at why information and communication technology, ICT, plays a vital role in developing economies. Researcher Thomas Nebel assessed the impact of ICT on economic growth in 59 developing, emerging, and developed countries over the period 1995 to 2000. The results indicate a positive causal relationship between ICT and economic growth for the entire sample of countries. Additionally, the three groups showed insignificant differences in output elasticity, refuting the claim that only developed countries stand to benefit from ICT investment. Hamid Seferdow suggests that development of ICT is necessary for economic growth and development of countries for several reasons. 1. Technology increases the speed of data transmission, and in this way, more information is disseminated among individuals. 2. It decreases production costs as it's possible to access generated information at a minimal cost. 3. It overcomes time and space constraints, increasing data transmission among buyers and sellers, thus enabling global trade. 4. It increases market transparency, followed by an increase in individual demand for easy access to required data.
When taking a look at the economic benefit that ICT has on developing countries, countries such as India, China, Egypt, and Mexico are major examples of those leveraging ICT to compete on the global market. In these countries, ICT is a growing contributor to the economy and a major focus of economic development for their governments. For example, Mahmood Morshetti states that ICT contributes to the Indian economy in the form of not only software exports, hardware exports, and domestic production, but also software service exports. This includes services such as help desks and development. Many multinational companies continue to outsource not only manual labor in developing countries, but also skilled labor in the ICT sector. For countries like India, this is a major contributor to the economy. Morshetti reports that in 2015 to 2016, the IT sector contributed to 9.5% of India's GDP, with IT service exports accounting for 45% of the country's total service exports. In terms of revenue, the IT sector has increased 126% in 8 years. In India, the government itself has recognized IT as one of its champion service sectors, setting aside funding of $746 million for these sectors.
Now let's take a look at education. A case study conducted by the University of Oslo examines ICT in Nepal's first university, Tribhuvan University. The study discusses the incorporation of information technology into classrooms to help students become active learners. ICT also gives students in developing countries an opportunity to access worldwide information, which can help lessen existing inequalities they inevitably face. With approximately 25% of Nepal's population living under the poverty line as of 2010, education is suffering as literacy rates are far behind developed nations. The study highlights statements made by the University Grants Commission, UGC, which creates policies and programs to improve Nepal's higher education. The proposed Higher Education Policy 2014 document states the integration of ICT practices in the education system and an increasing budget in infrastructure to support the new wave of learning tools. ICT has played a vital role in education around the world, as it has helped remove barriers such as time and distance so that students can access learning materials almost anywhere at any time. In addition to accessibility, ICT has enhanced learning by providing alternative means for interaction and collaboration through educational games and platforms. Another major benefit to ICT in developing countries is allowing women to have an equal opportunity to an education as men. Women in developing countries continue to be deprived of education, as over 2/3 of the world's illiterate population is women. ICT gives them more opportunities to receive an education through e-learning.
Culture. The adoption of IT is closely tied to the cultural values of a society. In developing countries, the adoption of IT can lead to new social behaviors and cultural values. IT gives people greater access to information and allows them to learn about new ideas. As these concepts are diffused through their society, new behavioral patterns emerge among the larger public. In a study made to evaluate how Saudi's recent tech revolution has impacted their culture, 3 changes in cultural elements were identified. Self-orientation. Having adapted to technology, people prioritize their individuality over maintaining relationships. Reform of privacy. Due to the ubiquity of technology, building online profiles is seen as the norm, and people are more comfortable with providing their personal information online. Gender egalitarianism. Saudi is characterized as a conservative society whose laws are dictated by cultural norms. The advancement in technology has led to a more evolved view of a woman's role in society. The changes are being reflected in the law as women can now vote and run in elections. These findings are generalizable, and we can expect to see similar cultural benefits in other developing countries.
Lastly, governance. ICT has also been proven to help mobilize mass groups of people living under autocratic regimes. A study conducted by the Ash Center for Democratic Governance and Innovation cites how social media has opened up doors for cynicism and parody within political systems that otherwise wouldn't allow for such discourse. The use of these media has led to life-saving events, such as when Chinese citizens found out about the SARS outbreak despite their government's attempted cover-up through the use of mobile phones. Another study details multiple corruption scandals unfolding in Africa powered by citizen outrage. Through social media, Africans have been able to communicate with their peers in other countries. When young Nigerians realized that though they'd come to accept corruption as the norm, this wasn't the case in nearby Botswana, they became outraged and took their voices to social media. Heads of state have since been cracking down on corrupt government officials, finally addressing a problem estimated to account for a loss of approximately 25% of the continent's GDP. Individuals revolting in the Arab Spring now had a new tool at their disposal. Throughout a time of revolution, many young Arabs asserted that as long as they had the internet and the smartphone, they would prevail. As an activist is noted as saying, "We use Facebook to schedule the protests, Twitter to coordinate, and YouTube to tell the world." An Egyptian father even named his newborn daughter Facebook to honor the social media site's role in the Egyptian revolution.
These are just some examples of how information technology has played a vital role in advancing healthcare, economy, education, culture, and governance in the developing nations.
Thank you for listening.